right? It is 2026 and the job market is absolutely cooked, but save this video if you want to learn how to apply to fewer jobs but make those applications high quality applications so that you can secure yourself the degree apprenticeship or the graduate role that you want. Right, let's get into it. My name is Bilal. I'm a quantity surveyor and I've been in the construction industry for the last 4.5 years. And in those last 4.5 years, I've worked for I worked for about 4 jobs. Whoa. Some of these people with their Porsches and their Lambos and their rentals, man. Anyways, let's get back into it. I've been in the industry for 4.5 years, and in those 4.5 years, I worked for about 4 or 5 different companies. I think I've interviewed for over 50 different roles. No, some of them have been intentional just to keep myself in check and just to keep. So every 2 months, what I like to do is apply for a job that I don't even want, go to the interview, and I just want to keep my interview skills fresh. And I think that's a very that's something that I do. You don't have to do. You just have to get your first role. But here's what I would be doing if I was applying to jobs today. First things first. If I was applying to quantity surveying, I would go and watch my YouTube video about what quantity surveyors do on a day-to-day basis. I'll try and understand what a quantity surveyor for a consultancy does, what a quantity surveyor for a main contractor does. These are the only two companies I would be working for. Consultancies who use quantity surveyors, commission them out to clients, and they give advice and they do the work for clients. And some of the big consultancies are Turner & Townsend, Curry Brown, RLB, Leeds, Atkins, some of the big tier 1 main contractors, Care, Costain, Balfour Beatty, and I'll try and understand the difference. And I would have 2 different CVs, one for main contractors, one for consultancies. Now, you need to understand the difference, because when you go to these jobs, you need to demonstrate that you understand what the business needs and how the business operates and how that business makes money. If you can demonstrate that, and if you can slip in 1 or 2 words or a couple of sentences that demonstrate that you understand how that business makes money, you're just gonna look like, yo, this guy knows what he's on about. And I'm talking about the personal profile section of your CV. Then when it comes to your interview, this is the most crucial stage, and I pretty much believe that from an interview you can pretty much like grab the job like that. And here's how. Your interview needs to be the most enthusiastic, the most lively, the most hungry. You need to feel, you need to act, you need to behave. And I'm not saying put on a show, but genuinely have some good energy, man. Have some good energy. Get out of, yeah, man, I'm too cool for that, I'm this, that. I see so many of these young bucks who think I'm just too cool. I know everything. I know. Yeah, and cool. And like, you guys are gonna struggle. You guys will struggle. I think a lot of it is about showing your willingness to learn, your willingness to grow, your willingness to ask questions. At this point in your career, you know nothing. You can do very little. So what can you do is you can show them and you can demonstrate that, look, I'm here to learn, I'm here to grow, I want to grow in this area. This is the value that I'm going to provide to the business. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and I'll grow. And I think how you show that is through your energy, through your enthusiasm, through your hunger, like just through things that are soft and not hard, tangible skills. Then on the other side of your interview, there is some kind of technical research and background reading that you need to do before you go into the interview. You know, just understanding cost management, understanding procurement, understanding commercial, understanding risk, understanding construction sequences and construction activities and all these kind of things. Because at the end of the day, if you're going and working for a construction business, you need to understand a thing or two about construction. You need to do a bit of research about quantity surveying. You need to do a little bit of reading on how tier 1 contractors make money, what supply chain is, what value is, what costs are, what's the difference between value and cost. And all these things are just going to help you feel more confident. And that confidence will help you in the thing of showing your enthusiasm. Because if you don't even have the technical knowledge, how can you show that you're enthusiastic? Because you're lying to yourself. So by you actually doing more research and understanding more and more about the job role, you actually feel more like, yo, I actually know a lot already. So you know what? I do feel hungry, and I do feel motivated, and I do feel enthusiastic, and I do feel that energy. And these things can be seen. Trust me, when a 30-year-old, when a 40-year-old, or a 50-year-old is interviewing you, who've been there, done that, worked with hundreds of people during their career, they can tell. And this is probably why a lot of you are not being successful, and the people who are being successful are probably doing these things. In fact, they are doing these things because I speak to people who are being successful every day. Check my story, check the link in my bio. I am in a community of people who I train to be successful, and this is what I want to do with 1,000 more people over the next year, 2 years, 3 years, I don't know how long. But I want to help 1,000 people get into construction careers, because I think there's an immense reward for young people, and there's an immense opportunity for young people. And I want every single one of you who's hardworking, who's talented, to get those opportunities and to start making that money and to provide for yourself and your family, and just grow. But yeah, two things. Keep them in mind. I've waffled on a bit, but khair.